Back in 2010, we developed a methodology called Lifelines that was based on small-scale, in-depth interviews, really going into the detail of what mattered to people's lives, whether that's patients or shoppers or passengers or whatever role they were playing. For healthcare, we wanted to learn from their stories and their experiences, not just their symptoms. And we borrowed a bit of academic research and adapted it, a methodology which has a dreadfully long-winded title called IPA, which is Interpretive Phenomenological Analysis, which basically teaches you to code what you see, what you hear, and interpret those clues into an overarching narrative. And that's what we try to lay out with Lifelines. We show it as a journey that people are on, but it looks a bit like a chart, but it's actually it's a landscape. It's a map of what is in the patient's life. And that landscape is what we can use to improve the experiences that they have. I think at first glance, the Lifelines landscape looks like a chart because it's got kind of a couple of lines running through it. But look a bit closer and you'll realise that there are no numbers on this chart. What it does have is the data points along the bottom are in their patient's words, their language, and that's very deliberate. What we don't want to do is strip out the nuance of how patients describe their lives, how shoppers describe what it's like to be on your website, or a passenger trying to make a complaint. It's the resonance of that, the emotion of that we don't want to lose. So we deliberately include that in the landscape so people can still grasp the feeling rather than just the topic. And we call these landscapes lifelines because we deliberately wanted to get away from a focus on a product or a service. We wanted the hero of it to be people's lives and to show a line that traced their experience of doing something, trying to achieve something in their life. Lifeline's biggest asset, I suppose, is helping to show the gaps between what people want and what they get. And in the last 6 or 7 years since we've been running Lifelines, we've been able to help healthcare organisations, retailers, small membership organisations, lots of different, not industry specific, but lots of different businesses and organisations to realise that unmet need in their customers' lives and make an effort to close those gaps.